there, grade 5. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so incredibly excited you're tuning in because today we are going on a massive global journey together. We are officially becoming Earth detectives to solve a giant environmental mystery that affects, well, our entire planet. You ready? Grab your detective hats and let's dive right into this.
First up, I want you to imagine something. What if whole islands, gorgeous places with sandy beaches, towns, and homes, just vanished? Like, completely disappeared right into the ocean. It sounds totally made up, right? Like a sci-fi movie. But detectives, this is actually a very real clue in our mystery today. We are tracking down something called global warming, and we need to find out exactly what it's doing to our world. And really quickly, before we start looking for clues, a quick shout out. This explainer is produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, Educator, AI agents and automation builder for educators, traders, and startups, based in Karachi, Pakistan. All right, let's get back to the case. Okay, let's kick things off with part 1, the mystery of global warming. So, how exactly did our once happy, balanced Earth end up wrapped in this giant, invisible warming blanket? Let's investigate. Picture this. Way, way up high above us is our planet's superhero shield. It's called the ozone layer. It sits way up in the stratosphere, about 10 to 50 kilometers high, which is incredibly high up. Its whole job is to protect the Earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. But here's the problem. Because of all this extra heat and pollution down here, global warming is actually damaging this amazing protective layer. Our superhero shield is literally under attack. So where is all this trapped extra heat going? Let's jump into part 2, melting ice and rising seas. We're packing our virtual winter coats and traveling to the absolute coldest parts of the world, places like the Arctic, Antarctica, Alaska, and Russia, to find our next clues. And boom, here is a shocking clue for you, 30%. Did you know the Arctic has lost nearly 30% of its ice in just the last 50 years? That is a massive amount of ice just vanishing. And it's happening because temperatures up there have risen by 3 to 5 degrees. In fact, the Arctic is warming up twice as fast as anywhere else on Earth. Now, you might be wondering, why does melting ice all the way up there matter to us down here? Well, it matters a lot. Glaciers, which are these massive formations of ice, are actually our biggest source of fresh drinking water in the whole world. When they melt away too fast, we lose that precious fresh water. And it gets crazier. The permanently frozen ground beneath forests and towns in these polar regions, it's starting to thaw out and turn into pure mush. Imagine the ground beneath your whole town just crumbling away because it melted. So here is the really crucial point. All that melting ice turns into water, and that water pours into the oceans, which makes the sea levels rise. And that brings us right back to our first big question. Because the water is rising so much, absolutely beautiful real-world islands like Mauritius and the Seychelles are at serious risk. If things don't change, they could actually disappear completely underwater in the next 100 years. Let's dive below the surface now for part 3, animals and changing ecosystems. Our Earth is mostly covered by one massive ocean, and even if you don't live anywhere near the beach, you depend on it to survive. The ocean acts like a giant air conditioner, moving cold and warm water around to help control the Earth's temperature. But we have a huge problem down there. Warmer ocean water actually cannot dissolve as much carbon dioxide gas. This is terrible news for these tiny, microscopic underwater plants called plankton. See, plankton need that carbon dioxide to grow. And guess what? Basically, all ocean creatures depend on plankton for food. If the plankton can't survive, fish numbers drop, and those gorgeous, colorful coral reefs, which are home to so many marine animals, start to die off. The whole underwater food chain just breaks down. Which brings us to a pretty heartbreaking fact. 20 years. According to the World Wildlife Fund, global warming could actually kill off polar bears completely in the next 20 years because they're losing their icy homes so fast. And it's definitely not just bears. Sea turtles lay their eggs on sandy beaches, but because those sea levels are rising, their nesting beaches are simply washing away into the ocean. All right, Earth detectives, it's time to connect these clues back to us. Let's look at part 4, how it affects human life. What exactly happens to people when the ice melts and the rain patterns change?
Well, we are absolutely already seeing severe impacts right now. We're seeing terrible floods happening in China, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. But at the exact same time, parts of Africa and Asia are facing extreme droughts, meaning no rain, affecting millions of people. And as those sea levels rise, low-lying coastal cities like New York City and Shanghai are at huge risk of extensive flooding. Now, pay close attention to this part. Global warming is actually the biggest threat to the world's poorest people. They rely entirely on the weather, the land, and the sea just to survive day to day.
And the mystery honestly doesn't stop there. All this warming creates crazy, unpredictable weather patterns. We're talking about way more intense heat waves, rivers suddenly overflowing, the increased spread of diseases, massive wildfires that cause terrible air pollution, and even stronger, much more dangerous hurricanes. So, we have to ask, who is the main culprit behind all this extra heat and extreme weather? Let's move to part 5 and look in the mirror, because it really comes down to understanding your carbon footprint. Okay, so what is a carbon footprint? It's basically a measurement. It is the total amount of greenhouse gases produced directly and indirectly to support the things we humans do every single day. Literally everything, from the electricity we use to light up our homes to the fuel burning in our school buses, leaves an invisible footprint of heat-trapping gas behind in the atmosphere. To put that into perspective, 12,000 pounds. That is how much carbon dioxide just one average everyday car pumps into the atmosphere every single year. That is literally the weight of a massive elephant in invisible gas, just from one car driving around. It really shows you how quickly our daily actions add up, doesn't it? But hey, don't worry, detectives. It's not all bad news. We have actual superpowers to fight back. Let's pivot to part 6, how we can help Earth. Because every single one of you listening right now has the power to make the Earth healthier with just a few simple everyday actions. Let's start with a super easy swap you can do right at home today. Check your light bulbs. Regular old light bulbs use a lot of power, but compact fluorescent light bulbs, or CFL bulbs for short, use 75% less electricity. Plus, they last 7 to 10 times longer. Literally just changing a light bulb shrinks your carbon footprint. How cool is that? And here is your ultimate checklist of Earth-saving superpowers. You can recycle every single day. You can walk or ride your bike to school instead of taking a car. You can make sure to switch off lights and appliances when you leave a room, and maybe use just a little less heater or air conditioning. But most importantly, you can plant trees. Trees literally act like the Earth's lungs. They breathe in carbon dioxide and prevent pollution. Just imagine if your school planted 50 trees this year. Think of the amazing positive impact that would have on the planet. And lastly, use your voice. Share all this information you learned today about global warming with your family and your friends. Well, Earth detectives, we have officially solved the mystery of why our planet is getting hotter, and now we know exactly how to help cool it down. So I have one final question for you to think about. Which solution will you try at home today? Go talk about it with your classmates and your teachers. Remember, every single small action helps our beautiful planet get just a little bit healthier. If you loved being an Earth detective with us on this global journey, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us for even more amazing discoveries about our world. See you next time.